You don't have to have drugs or any money seized. You don't have to be involved in a crime.
You do?
No, you don't.
What?
Daily Mad News. Mad News. Daily Mad News. Mad News. Daily Mad News. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to today's episode of the Daily Mad News with your host, Efo Bizo, coming to you live and direct from the Daily Mad News headquarters right here in London. So, what is the Daily Mad News for today? Daily Mad News. A UK police officer has claimed that you could be arrested for having £1,000 on you without any links to any sort of crime whatsoever. Let's take a look at this. Daily Mad News.
You don't know the law. You don't have to have drugs or any money seized. You don't have to be involved in a crime.
You do?
No, you don't. No, you don't. You don't know the law. You don't know the law.
A viral video showing a Merseyside police officer detaining a man and confiscating £1,000 in cash under suspicion of money laundering has triggered widespread controversy. The incident has raised concerns about police powers and individual rights in the UK. In the video, the female officer tells the man that carrying over £1,000 in cash is grounds for suspicion of money laundering, citing the Proceeds of Crime Act 2002, POCA. The cash was seized despite no visible evidence of drugs or other criminal activity. The officer's claim has drawn sharp criticism, with many calling it an overreach of authority and a misinterpretation of the law.
Daily Mad News. Let me just put this out there. I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a barrister, I'm not a judge, I'm not a police officer. I'm just using my critical thinking in understanding the law like a normal citizen, right? Daily Mad News. The police operate under something called PACE, which is the Police and Criminal Evidence Act 1984. That's the code of practice. Now, if you look at this code of practice, Police and Criminal Evidence Act 1984, if you look at section 19 of the code of practice, which deals with the general power of seizure, if you look at paragraph 2 there, it says, the constable may seize anything which is on the premises if he has reasonable grounds for believing, A, that it has been obtained in consequences of commission of an offense, and B, that it is necessary to seize it in order to prevent it being concealed, lost, damaged, altered, or destroyed. Let's look at paragraph 3. The constable may seize anything which is on the premises if he has reasonable grounds for believing that A, that it is evidence in relation to an offense which he is investigating or another offense, and that it is necessary to seize it in order to prevent the evidence being concealed, lost, altered, or destroyed. Daily Mad News. If you go to the Gov website, right, it tells you about the police power to stop and search. It tells you about your right. So, these are the police grounds to stop and search you. Remember, it says here the rules are different in Scotland. We're going to examine that as well. But let's have a look at the rules here. So, stop and search police power. A police officer has power to stop and search you if they have reasonable grounds to suspect you're carrying illegal drugs, weapon, stolen property, something which could be used to commit a crime, such as a crowbar. You could also be stopped and searched without reasonable ground if it has been approved by a senior police officer. This can happen if it is suspected that serious violence could take place, you're carrying a weapon or have used one, or you're in a specific location or area. Okay. Now, let's look at the Scotland version of things. Daily Mad News. According to the Citizens Advice Bureaus in Scotland, which talks more about what police powers to stop and search and enter private property and seizure. So let's go into this. Police can stop and search you if they have a search warrant, they have a reasonable grounds to suspect that you have committed a crime or are about to commit a crime. You are in danger to yourself or others. You're suspected of having weapons on school grounds. You're suspected of terrorist activity. You're in an area where police are searching people for a limited time. You've agreed to be searched for as if you walk to an event like a football match or stuff like that. Police can search you. Police can also search if you the police have reasonable grounds to suspect you have illegal drugs, knife, gun, stolen properties, alcohol, and this is where I want you to understand. Cash, let me increase that. Cash of £1,000 or more that was obtained through criminal activities. And it's also listed that listed assets worth £1,000 or more, like gold and watches, that were obtained through criminal activities. Daily Man News.
So what grounds are you using for money laundering?
You just anyone over £1,000 you can have, because if you haven't got a valid reason to have it, you don't work, you're £1,000.
You don't have to have a reason to owe money.
Well, we can seize it and we can investigate why you've got £1,000 cash, and then you can, and you can, if you can prove it, you just get it back.
Daily Man News. This is actually wrong there. Yeah, in the UK, you're presumed innocent until you're proven guilty. And how does that work? Okay, so is the key point of this principle of being innocent or until proven guilty is that the burden is about the burden of proof. The prosecution bears the burden of proving guilt. The accused has no obligation to prove their innocence. This is not only in the UK, it's something that the European Court of Human Rights has agreed to in Article 6, and I'll show you now. This is European Court of Human Rights. This is Article 6, and it states there, it enshrines the right of an accused person to be presumed innocent until proved guilty according to law. Daily Man News.
You don't know the law. Go home. Go home. Go home and study the law, because I'm saying that on camera. You do not know the law. You don't have to have drugs. You don't.
Incorrect.
Daily Man News. Under the Proceeds of Crime Act, which the officer is herself quoted, Section 294 of that legislation says deals with the seizure of cash. And this is what it says. An officer of revenue of customs, a constable, an SFO, I believe that should be the serious fraud officer, or accredited financial investigation may seize any cash if he has reasonable grounds for suspecting that A, it's a recoverable property, or B, intended by any person for use in unlawful conduct. He also stated in the second one that 2, an officer of revenue or customs, a constable, or an SFO, or an accredited financial investigation may also seize cash, part of which has reasonable grounds for suspecting to be recoverable property or intended by any person for use in unlawful conduct. Daily Man News.
We'll give you your Form A's. Don't worry about it. We'll all get investigated. That's if you've got over £1,000. You might not even have over £1,000. That's why we can't see it.
It's roughly about £1,000.
Well, we'll find out now, won't we? How much?
It's 75.
There you go, it's not over £1,000. But if it's over £1,000,
I don't know the law, study law.
Oh yeah, well you'll know then over £1,000 we can seize it. You know that then, don't you?
Yeah, I know that.
So we can seize it, and then
you have to have reasonable grounds to seize it. If you find drugs, right, or anything connected with crime.
Daily Man News. The police officer mentioned something about money laundering. Proceeds of Crime Act 2002, Part 7 talks about money laundering, and it said, a person may commit an offense if he conceals criminal property, if it disguises criminal property, if it converts criminal property, transfers criminal property, removes criminal property from England and Wales or from Scotland or Northern Ireland. Daily Man News. If you have a look at the latest cash access policy statement, during the Rishi Sunak government, it has nothing at all in this old policy that is based on police taking your £1,000. So sorry to say this, that officer is wrong. Daily Man News. I think the officer is wrong. You have no right to take that money, because according to the law, you have no right. You have to prove that that money is being taken from an illicit drugs or illicit trade or from a proceed of crime. That's what I think. So now let me know what you think. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Daily Man News. Man News. Daily Man News. Man News. Daily Man News.